Hi everyone, David here, and today I'm here to tell you it's the
End of days.
At least you might think so after this video, because we're going to learn ChatGPT Operator. The operator does mundane tasks for you, like booking travel or doing web research. And in this video, we're going to check out 4 use cases I tried with the operator to see if it could really handle my dirty work. You can follow along at chatgpt.com. So click the card above or the link in the description below to get there. Let's dive in. Okay, now that we're here, it's important to understand that ChatGPT Operator is a research project. And partially because of that, the only way to access Operator is by subscribing to the $200 a month Pro plan. And it's only available to users in the United States. Now, unless you're very curious, I don't recommend you drop $200 on this, because this is still a research preview, so there are a lot of bugs to work out. But I do want you to see the potential of this technology, and that's what we're going to do today. We'll ask the operator to find us a good deal on a MacBook with these specs. When I submit this prompt, ChatGPT Operator will do something completely different. Instead of doing the search on its own like ChatGPT, it performs the search like you and me. On the right side, you can see the browser that it's using, and on the left side, we can see the exact steps it's taking by clicking on this down arrow. The operator starts with a few simple actions. It was on Bing, and now it's on Amazon searching for a 13-inch MacBook. And here's where it gets cool. The agent sees that there are filters on the left side of the page. And if you look closely, you'll see it just selected the 8 gigs of RAM filter. Now you might be wondering how this works. Basically, this browser is on a computer in the cloud. ChatGPT Operator uses a special model with computer vision that allows it to see and interact with each page as though it had a mouse and keyboard. Again, just like a human would. Now back to the action. Remember, we asked for a computer under $700, so now it's scrolling through the results looking for a good choice. Here are a few under $700, but they don't have the right specs. And now you see it's checking out ratings on a potential match. Okay, it likes the ratings, so it goes to the product page. And yes, this MacBook has 8 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage, and it's under $700. And just like a good agent, it gives us the link on the left side. Okay, so you have to admit this is pretty cool. What about if we ask ChatGPT to buy it? What happens then? So good to know. As a research preview, it's not allowed to make purchases just yet. If you want to buy it, click the link and buy it yourself. Overall, it's not bad for the first test. Let's try something slightly more time-consuming, searching for flights. There are a lot of good travel search sites out there, but when you're looking for a deal and your dates are flexible, it can take a long time to find the right flight. So let's see how the operator can help. Now, just like before, let's maximize the browser window so we can really see what it's doing. Right off the bat, it doesn't appear to have a preference for a flight booking website, so it's Googling for one with Bing. By the way, that's a Microsoft perk for investing billions of dollars into OpenAI. Okay, it's found Kayak, and task number 1 is to fill in the departure field with New York City. It has no problem doing that, but it leaves LIT, that's Little Rock, in the departure field. That's from a previous search I did, so let's hope that doesn't affect things later. So the arrival field already had Seattle in it, so now it's opened the date selector. We can see from the actions on the left that it's trying to set the date to March 3rd, but the earliest date it should select is March 4th, because that would limit the stay to at most 7 days. And then all of a sudden, we get thwarted with a San Jose to Las Vegas flight popping up. That's not good. It successfully recovered from that, and now it's back to choosing dates, but actually, this pop-up is going to happen once again. And while it does recover again, this is not looking good. It thinks the departure date is March 3rd, and now it's setting the return date to March 10th, but we wanted March 11th. And then it ends up searching for flights leaving on the 2nd. You can see the dates it was able to select in the address bar. This comedy of errors just keeps happening. So if this is happening to you, here's how to see what's going on. So if we click at an earlier step, we can go back to a screenshot. When it clicks on return date, Kayak actually makes you select both. So if it's selecting the 10th here as a return date, but that adjusts the departure date. So that's definitely going to screw it up. At this point, it's been running for about 7 minutes. I'm going to look for flights myself and see who finds the best flight. And we're back. That was a big fail. The cheapest flight it found was $296. The cheapest flight I found on my own was closer to $200. And we know from the history of actions that it wasn't able to search anything besides March 3rd to March 10th. And it seemed like no matter what website it used, the biggest issue was trying to set departure dates and travel dates in general. And after that disappointing performance, let's try something totally different: web scraping for leads. See, I've got this blank spreadsheet and I've got to get the name and contact information of every college basketball coach in America. But I'm lazy and I want my AI virtual assistant to do this for me. Here's my prompt. For the sake of time, we're just gonna get contact info for the top 3 men's college basketball teams and just for the head coaches. But I've asked the operator to populate this spreadsheet. And notice that I don't have any column headers in this spreadsheet at all. And here we go. Now the first thing it has to do is figure out what are the top 3 men's college basketball teams right now. It follows a similar process to the last examples. Step 1, search for the information. Step 2, inspect the websites in the results for the answers. So far, Operator's been successful at this, and this time it's no different. It's just found the team rankings on ESPN. Now it's moving on to 3 subtasks. It's got to find the contact information for the head coaches of Auburn, Duke, and Alabama. Here's the first page, and we've got a name and phone number, but we've still got to find the email address. No luck on that page, so it's checking other websites for the info. It manages to find the Auburn staff directory, and it's trying to search for Bruce Pearl there, but it's probably going to find the same page we just looked at. It saw there was no email. Let's see if we can pull that up again. No email address right here. So now it looks like it's moving on to Duke. And check this out. Duke's got a different type of page. It is so easy to take for granted just how tough it is for a computer to get the right information out of these different website layouts. What I like is that the operator is resilient. So there's something that happened here where it was paused, but it's able to retry. It just got the final piece of contact information, and now it's time to see if it can put all of them into the spreadsheet. Okay, it took a little time, but it got to the spreadsheet successfully. And what's cool is because the spreadsheet is blank, it starts creating its own column headers. And after it's written the headers, it enters the lead data row by row until it's done. The assignment's complete, but there are a couple of things that it missed. Because while what it did is technically correct, it didn't include the team name and it didn't include a link back to the original contact information page. Let's see if the operator can make those changes. Let's make this slightly more difficult for the operator. Not only are we asking it to add the team name and the contact information link, but we want the team name at the beginning and the contact information link at the end. Let's see how much of the original context it's retained. Well, it appears to have retained a lot, so it doesn't need to search again. It adds the team column seamlessly, as well as the team names, and each of them is in the correct row. Again, don't take this stuff for granted. Well, now it looks like it doesn't remember the original links, but it can go back to each tab it searched to find them instead of starting fresh. So we'll skip to the end here after it's done this and see if it can do it successfully. So it finished the task and it's basically telling me that my prompt was ambiguous. See, I asked it for the contact information link, and what I intended was to get the link of the original contact information for each coach. But it interpreted that prompt as a request for the staff contact information pages. So just to show you could keep iterating, I'll submit this prompt to clean up the spreadsheet and update the links to be those of the head coach's profile. And I'll show you what it comes up with. And there you go. It updated the contact info link and it passed this task with flying colors. For this final use case, we're gonna do something a lot more complicated. A lot of YouTubers demo booking a hotel or Airbnb with ChatGPT Operator, but the broader problem we're trying to solve is planning a vacation in the first place. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to design a perfect day in Naples, Italy. And before I submit this, I'm gonna turn on the search function so it gets the latest information from the web to plan our itinerary. Let's review this itinerary together because I'm going to tell ChatGPT Operator to book everything on this list. First, we've got a train to book into Naples. Then we've got breakfast. Then a guided walking tour, but ChatGPT may have hallucinated that there is something starting at 10 a.m. Then the next booking is lunch. And after that, we've got a reservation at a museum. And finally, the last reservation is for a fine dining restaurant. So let's copy all of this up to the restaurant and ask ChatGPT Operator to make our bookings. In the operator page, I'll start a new chat and we'll paste this prompt in. And at the very beginning of the prompt, we'll add this header. We've asked it to book transportation, a hotel, restaurants, and tours to make this itinerary in Naples, Italy possible for 2 adults on March 12th. So assume we're coming in from Rome before 9 a.m. and book a hotel that's convenient to get to from dinner and the train station. Let's see what it's doing. First, it has to book the train, so let's see if it's any better than it was at booking flights. March 3rd, no good, but it is resilient. You see, it does correct itself to March 12th. Now that it understands how to use the date picker, this actually looks a lot better. It just needs to select a train that arrives before 9 a.m., and we should be in good shape. So it's asking us to confirm if we want these tickets. So I say yes, but let's remove this rail aid, which is this $19 charge for travel insurance. So first it has to figure out how to do that. You and I both see the remove link, but can ChatGPT? Now it can, but it's still got to confirm the removal on this pop-up, and we're good. It always checks to be doubly sure we're good to continue, which I appreciate. Let's see what the next step is. It should select this ticket, ignore other options, and then move us on to the passenger details screen. And it's getting close, and great, we're on to the next page. Now it's asking for passenger information, so I'm going to provide some fake passenger info. Now, if it does the right thing here, it should put each of those pieces of information in the right text box. So email is correct. Let's see if it splits up the names properly. I'm 99% sure it will. There we go, John, and last name Blogertonson. Now moving on to seat preferences. Let's see if it asks us for this information as well. So it's automatically assigning seats. Not necessarily ideal. So each of these websites you see has so much information that you could provide, like seat selection, email address, adult names, etc. And every time you go to these websites, the operator asks you for the information. You might be thinking, why don't I just book this myself? Well, we could be smarter about how we prompt. We could provide all of this information up front. Use this email address. Here's our information. Here's usernames and passwords even. You can tell ChatGPT Operator that you don't want it to save your information or use your information to train the model. So there's a clear wall between what you see, how you're operating on this browser, and what OpenAI can see. And here's the next prompt. It's asking us for payment details. Instead of me typing them into the operator prompt window right here, I'm going to actually take control of this browser so that the operator is out of the loop. So in this mode, I can scroll through this browser on this virtual machine. I can fill in my card number, my billing address, all of this other information, and then I can make the purchase. I'm not going to do this right now, but when I'm done, I can tell ChatGPT that I'm done and then give it some information about what I accomplished when I had control. Now, the operator is probably going to ask me again to complete the booking. Let's see. Right, as expected. Let's move on and book the hotel. Now, we couldn't get flights done. We could get a train booking done. Let's see what it can do with the hotel. It's looking for the hotel first. And remember, we gave it a complex instruction to find a hotel near the restaurant we're going for dinner. I really wish I could tell you there's a success story here. It finds the right dates this time. It looks for a hotel for 2 guests. It even finds a decent hotel. All seems good. But it gets stuck trying to make sure that the hotel is close enough to the restaurant. It switches to map view in order to confirm, but it's lost. It's hopeless. We're not going to get our hotel booking after all. And after a futile effort trying to find hotels on the map, it returns to the list view where it finds the same hotel. And eventually, it does find the booking site. But even so, it struggles to finalize that booking. So I'm going to give it a few minutes and see what it can do. A few minutes became 37 minutes as it found the booking.com webpage, but unfortunately, it got stuck in this endless loop of trying to select dates. March 12th to 13th, March 12th to 13th, March 12th to 13th, and it just never got out of there, so I had to stop it. It's not quite ready for prime time yet, but did you see some glimmers of magic in there? Give it a year, and this might be your next virtual assistant. This is David, and I'll see you in the next video.